welcome to Radiant Joy Yoga and Fitness. Today I'll be leading you through a 30-minute workshop on seated yoga postures. I'm going to show you how to get into these poses, what muscles we're activating and targeting, and how to come out of each pose safely. I'll also be introducing you to a variety of props to be used in your yoga class, namely blocks, a strap, a blanket, and the yoga bolster. You can substitute your blanket with any small blanket you have at home or maybe a bath towel. Your blocks can be substituted with a stack of books. Your strap can be replaced with a belt or maybe the cloth belt from a robe. And your bolster can be replaced with a firm cushion, a couple of pillows, or maybe taking the cushion off your couch to sit on. Now, many people think having to use props in their yoga class makes them less than, and that is not the case. Props actually make postures more accessible to our body. They can lift you up, they can bring the earth closer to you, they can guide you into a posture and make it easier for you. So the first posture we're coming into today is Sukhasana. Sukha means easy and asana means pose. So Sukhasana, easy pose. So to come into this, we're sitting on the mat. We're actually going to bend our knees. And we're bringing one leg parallel in front of the other. We don't necessarily want to stack one leg on top because you can apply a pressure to the bottom ankle, which can be painful. So once we've rearranged our legs, we want to feel our sitting bones grounding down to the earth. And maybe if we're not quite feeling them, we can grab the fleshy parts of our bottoms, pull that out so we feel nice and grounded to our sitting bones. We're going to sit up nice and tall, bringing our head over our rib cage over our pelvis. We lengthen out through the spine, out to the crown of our head, and we're turning on our corset muscles, lifting up our pelvic floor, squeezing those muscles together to give us nice firm support in this pose. Our hands can either be palms down, resting gently on our knees, or we can have them palms open. This posture is typically a posture you'll come into at the beginning or perhaps the end of your yoga class. So Sukhasana is a pose we come into to ground ourselves and to center. Now, as you come seated into this pose, it might be a little difficult for you to open the hips fully, and I've got you covered. You might notice that I'm sitting on my blanket. What we can do is fold this in half, make it a little higher to lift our hips. And if we have really tight hips, we might want to lift ourselves up even higher. So we can grab blocks or our bolster. I'm going to go for our bolster. So we come seated on that, pulling out the fleshy parts of our bottoms, bending the knees, opening the hips. One leg is parallel in front of the other. And you notice my pelvis is lifted up, leaning forward just a little bit, giving me that extra height to allow the hips to rotate open. So go ahead and join me in Sukhasana. Maybe closing your eyes if you feel comfortable. And we focus on our breath, breathing in and out through our noses. See if we can harness our breath a little bit more. Deep inhales. Maybe we bring a hand to our heart, a hand to the belly. Big inhales. Full exhales. Noticing the rise of our belly and chest as we breathe in. And we feel the shoulders, chest, lower, and the belly button pulls to the backbone as we exhale. Taking this time to come back into our own natural rhythm, trying to figure out what's going on in our bodies today. And there's no right or wrong here. Just being in the present moment. Maybe turning our attention now to what we feel in our body. What sensations that we're feeling. Maybe we feel tightness or tension in some areas of the body. Maybe we have some big emotions today. Or some stress that we carried in with us. And that's okay. We take this time in our Sukhasana and our easy seated pose to breathe deeply, to relax the body, to ground ourselves, and to let go of all of those emotions or those things that don't serve us in our yoga practice. Now from our Sukhasana, we're moving into Dandasana. Danda means staff or rod. Asana means pose. So Dandasana, staff pose. From Sukhasana, let's extend our legs out in front of us. We're keeping that connection through our sitting bones. Extending legs out, flexing the toes up, pushing our thighs into the mat. Pulling our kneecaps up, activating our quads. Activating Mula Bandha, so pelvic floor lifts up, squeezes together. Our Uddiyana Bandha, or belly lock, abdominals lift up, wrap together like a corset. Our chin has our chin lock, staying parallel to the mat, like we're holding a grapefruit there. Let's roll the shoulders, lift them up, roll them back, shoulder blades down our back, pressing our palms into the mat. So you see, Dandasana is a very active posture. We're activating all of the muscles in our body. We're actively pushing down into the earth, extending out through the legs, pushing them into the mat. We'll take a few rounds of breath here. So Dandasana is like the mountain pose of seated postures. Let's take a deep breath in and we'll exhale, release. So Dandasana can be a very difficult posture for people to come into, especially if they have tight hamstrings. You notice I can come into this without any bend in my legs, but if we have very tight hamstrings, being able to hinge forward and press the legs into the mat can be difficult. So here's some options that we can take. I'm going to sit on my blanket. I have it folded, giving me a little bit more lift. That's going to lift me up. That's going to lift me up just enough to shift the pelvis forward slightly, coming into this folded position. Now, if you're really tight, you might not be able to get those thighs down. So what we can do here is place something underneath our knees. So look at what you have lying around. You might be able to take a block or two and place them behind the knees. So now that I'm lifted up, I have things placed behind my knees, I can come into this posture easier. I'm able to push the back of my legs into my blocks to feel that connection. I'm sitting up nice and tall, activating my bandhas, pushing my hands down into the mat next to me, sitting up nice and tall for Dandasana, or staff pose. The next pose we're flowing into from Sukhasana, easy seated pose, is Paschimottanasa, intense Western stretch or seated forward fold. So from here, I'm just lengthening the legs, extending them out in front of me. You'll notice my hips are lifted up slightly. I'm sitting on my folded blanket. You can definitely come all the way down to the mat, or you can sit up even higher, choosing what option works for you. So in Paschimottanasa, our seated forward fold, legs are out in front. First thing we do, we're flexing the toes towards our face. We're engaging our thighs, pushing thighs in towards the mat. We're sitting up nice and tall. We're activating our pelvic floor, activating our core muscles, and we inhale, lengthening through the spine, lifting those arms up. Exhaling, we're hinging forward at the hips. Now, as you can see, I can touch my toes, but I know it's not a possibility for everyone, and that's okay. Let me show you a few other props you can use to help you come into Paschimottanasa even easier. I'm going to walk my hands back, and I'm going to use my strap. I'm making a nice loop, bringing it around the pads of my feet, still flexing my toes towards the face, and I'm taking a nice loose hold on my strap. As you notice, there's not a lot of tension. I'm not choking up on it. So same thing, starting here, toes flexed, activating our thighs, nice strong legs, pushing the back of our thighs to the mat, sitting up nice and tall, activating our pelvic floor and our core muscles. Big inhale, lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, folding forward. This might be all the further we're available to come to, and that's okay. The great thing about yoga is it's a practice, and we're here to honor our body, never force it into something that doesn't work for us. We'll hold here for a few breaths. And then we'll exhale, coming back out of the posture. Here's a few things that we need to avoid while we're coming into this posture. I'm going to turn to the side to show you. So a lot of us have a tendency in forward folds. We come into it, we're trying to hinge forward, but we're unable to hinge all the way, so we round through the back. That's not what we're trying to accomplish here. What we want to do, of course, adjust our bellies if we need to. That's always a good move. Lengthen through the spine. Exhale, folding forward. That time when you feel the back starting to round, that means you've gone too far into it. We're going to ease out of that till we come to a nice lengthened back. And we'll go ahead and walk ourselves back out of this. So the next posture I want to take us into is Marichyasana. Marichi was a sage, so Marichyasana is sage's pose. So we're coming to our Dandasana. We're going to keep our left leg extended. We're going to bend the right knee and pull our heel in as close as we can to our body. We might need to adjust our belly here, lifting it up, pulling it back. So Marichyasana is a seated twist that helps strengthen and stretch the spine and also the shoulder. Now that we have our legs situated, we're actively lengthening through our left leg, flexing those toes up. Lifting our kneecap, activating our quad, pressing that thigh into the mat. Sitting up nice and tall, pelvic floor squeezes together, lifts up. Our abdominals, same thing, squeeze together, lifting up, sitting up nice and tall, feel those sitting bones connecting to the mat. Let's take a deep breath in together, lengthening through the spine, and then exhaling. Left hand comes to right knee. We twist open, right hand comes to the mat behind us. We inhale to lengthen and exhale. Use that breath to help guide you into the stretch. To come out of this posture, let's take an inhale, lift up the hands, and exhale. Come back to center. And we can release our leg. Marichyasana, Marichy's pose or sage pose. So the next seated posture we're flowing into is Baddha Konasana. Baddha means bound, Kona, angle. So Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. You often hear it referred to as cobbler's pose or butterfly pose. So from our Sukhasana, easy seated pose, we're opening our hips, bending the knees, and we're bringing the soles of our feet together. We start sitting up nice and tall, lengthening through our spine, activating our pelvic floor and our abdominal muscles. We take a deep breath in, lengthening through our spine, and then exhaling. We can hip hinge forward. We feel the elbows come into contact with our inner thighs. And then we can exhale, tucking chin to our chest, and then rounding slightly through the upper back. And now to come out of this, I'll lift my head and I'll inhale, coming back to neutral. Now, this stretch is intended to stretch the groin, the inner and the outer thighs. If you don't have very open hips, this one can be difficult for people. So instead of sitting directly on the mat, let's try lifting our hips up. I'm going to take my blocks and I'm building a shelf to sit on to support my bottom. That lifts my hips up just enough, gives me extra height, so it allows the hips to fall open. Notice the ease as I came into that this time. Gravity's assisting us here. So same thing, sitting up nice and tall, activating our pelvic floor, lifting up the abs, squeezing them together. Now our hands here, we can bring hands to our ankles. And we can exhale, hip hinging forward, tucking chin to our chest, and maybe rounding through the upper back gently. Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. To come out of this, we can bring our hands behind our knees and we're going to assist them coming together, and we can extend the legs back out. I'm going to take my blocks out from underneath me. And coming back to my Dandasana or staff pose. From my Dandasana, I'm coming to Janu Sirsasana. Janu Sirsasana or head to knee pose. Going to keep my right leg extended, going to bend the left knee, allow the hip to fall open, and I'm bringing my left foot to the inside of my right thigh. So we're activating our core muscles and our pelvic floor, sitting up nice and tall. We'll take a deep breath in, extending our arms up, and exhaling, hip hinging forward, letting our hands fall wherever they do. Let's take a deep breath in, lengthen through the spine, maybe lift our gaze slightly, and then exhale. Adjust bellies if we need to, and fold. Even though this is called head to knee pose, if our head doesn't reach our knee, that's okay. To walk out of this, to come out of this, let's walk our hands back, lifting ourselves up. If hinging forward into this posture isn't working for you, you can also use your strap. I'm bringing my strap across the balls of my feet, keeping gentle pressure. I'm not choking up on my strap, I'm not pulling, just to help me guide myself into the posture. So same thing, we're already set, hips open, foot squeezes the thigh. On our right leg, our thigh pushes into the mat, toes are flexed up towards our face. Let's inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, hip hinge forward. This might be all the farther that we can come, and that's okay. Taking some deep breaths. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale to fold. And we'll inhale, rising up. Now, as I said in Paschimottanasa, or seated forward fold, we often have this tendency to round through the upper back. I'm going to turn to the side to show you. Sometimes we come into this posture, we can't quite reach, or this is all the further we can bend, so we compensate by rounding the back. If our back is rounding, let's ease out of the posture. Come to a nice long back, make sure our abs are active, and we can just stay here. So the next posture we're coming into is Upavistha Konasana. Upavistha means spread apart or wide. Kona means angle. So Upavistha Konasana, wide angled, seated forward fold. Let's go ahead, open the legs nice and wide. Now as we come into this stretch, the benefits of it, we're stretching through the groin and through the inner thighs. Let's activate our Mula Bandha. So pelvic floor squeezes together, lifts up. Uddiyana Bandha or belly lock. Belly muscles come together, lift up. We're taking a deep breath in, lengthening through the spine, reaching upwards. Our toes are flexing towards our face. And we exhale, hip hinging forward. Our gaze is directed at the ground. Maybe if we take a deep inhale, lengthen through the spine, lift the gaze a little, and then exhale, fold forward. And to come out of this posture, let's walk our hands back, bringing the spine back to neutral. Now, this might be a difficult pose for some of us, and in order to get that hip hinge forward, we might need to raise the hips. So I'm going to come onto my blanket. I folded it so it's a little bit fatter this time, bringing it under my hips to lift me up a little higher. The blanket is lifting our hips up, which helps tilt the pelvis forward, easing us into that forward fold. Our legs are activated. Let's go ahead and rotate the hips out just a little bit. Okay, take a deep breath in, reaching up. And now exhale, hip hinge forward. Maybe our hands come to our ankles, our toes. Maybe some of us are lucky enough to get down to the floor. We're going to bring our hands wherever we feel comfortable with. And we also have the option to bring a bolster in front of us. Let's bring the earth up to us so we don't have to struggle coming into this posture. So activating our legs again, rotating the hips back, open. And we'll exhale, let's walk the hands out as we hip hinge forward. Holding here for a few breaths in Upavistha Konasana, wide angled seated forward fold. Inhaling, let's walk those hands back out. From here, we're going to move into Parivrtta Janu Sirsasana. So we already learned Janu Sirsasana as head to knee pose. Parivrtta means revolved. So Parivrtta Janu Sirsasana, or revolved head to knee pose. So we're going to take this left leg, bend the knee, open the hip. We're bringing our foot as close into the body as we can. Right leg, flexing toes up, activating our thigh, pushing the back of the leg into the mat. We're sitting up nice and tall, activating our Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. Let's bring our right leg out. Right leg can either stay on our thigh, or we can bring 2 fingers around our big toe and come to our yogi toe lock. I'm just going to ease out of that because it's a little bit too far for me, bringing my hand to my shin. Now left arm, let's inhale, bring it up, and then exhale, left arm comes closer to our ear. We lift the rib cage away from our hips, stretching through the side body. And now in the next portion of this, we're opening our chest, lifting our gaze upwards. Parivrtta Janu Sirsasana, revolved head to knee pose. Let's inhale, reaching up, sliding right hand back up our leg. We can also use our strap in this posture. We can bring our strap around the balls of our feet, grabbing onto that with our right hand. Now notice it's not tight, I'm not really yanking on it, just helping it guide me into the posture. I might not be able to hinge forward that much. So let's move into this with the strap, lengthen the spine, inhale, reaching up with the left arm, bringing it up and over the ear, lifting rib cage away from my hips. And this might be where I can come, and that's great. Remember, yoga is a practice. We're honoring our bodies here. And now we'll open the chest, lifting our gaze upwards. Chin comes towards the arm. Take another deep breath in and exhale to release. Another way to use our strap in this posture, to come into it a little deeper, we're going to transfer this strap to our left hand. So right hand comes down the leg. We're opening our chest, lifting left arm up and over. We can keep slight tension here in our strap, lifting our gaze up towards the ceiling. And we'll exhale, release our strap, and bring ourselves out of it. Now, in closing our yoga classes, we often come right back to Sukhasana, maybe for meditation at the end, or maybe just to center and ground yourself once more before we come in to our final relaxation or Shavasana. So let's bring hands to Anjali Mudra. So Anjali Mudra, palms are pressed together, fingers are pressed together at our heart center. It's also known as prayer hands. Let the shoulder blades come down our back. Taking a few minutes to breathe here. Maybe we show ourselves a little gratitude, thanking our bodies for showing up for us day after day. Thanking ourselves for taking that first step, coming to our mat. Remember, you are an awesome person. And the love and light in me honors the love and light in you. Namaste. If you like this video and want to see more content from me, please like the video, share it, and subscribe to my channel so you never miss a class. Thank you. Have a great day.